Hi, everyone. It's Michael Fern, and welcome to the LSP Method Podcast, where we talk all things Lego Serious Play. And I've got another special guest. I'm looking forward to this one. I haven't done one of these in a little while, and so I'm excited to have Robin Hackshall. How are you going?
I'm very well. How are you?
Good, good. I'm good. Like I said, I haven't done this for a while. It's been months since I've actually recorded one. So I'm glad that you're my first guest back up. So let me talk about Robin and how we came to meet. So we've been working a little while together. So Robin's does a lot of different things, which he's going to talk to you about. So he does Agile stuff, Scrum stuff. He's a coach. He's a trainer. He's a facilitator, obviously a Lego Serious Play facilitator. He's even certifying and training people in Lego Serious Play now. So he's doing quite a lot. And I've enjoyed working with him because he's got a really, well, apart from his energy, which I love, it's also a really unique take on Lego Serious Play and his passion for it. So we're going to go, he's got some builds, and not only that, but he's going to change camera on me, which I think he's gone high tech on me. So we're going to see how that goes. But Robin, tell us a bit about yourself. I've given the high level, but yeah, take us through like maybe how you got into Lego Serious Play. What were you doing before that? Tell us who you are.
I'm trying to think when it would have been 10 years ago-ish, or maybe a little bit more that I got into Lego Series. I actually saw sort of some of the first sort of big Lego Series Play training sessions that were sort of like all held at Legoland and 4 days and £4,000. And thought, yeah, I'd love to do
The early
that, but my
days, yeah.
yeah, my organization's never gonna pay for that.
Mm.
Um, but obviously kept looking at sort of different websites and saw different Lego activities and was able to build those into sort of some of the stuff that I was doing at that time when
Mm.
I was working as a Scrum Master, and we were looking at our processes and practices and sort of ran the Lego Flow game. And that's probably the first Lego activity that I actually ran, and sort of we were looking at sort of waterfall versus Kanban versus Scrum and sort of the different processes you can do, getting people to build little Lego animals for a Lego zoo.
Mm.
And sort of everyone enjoyed it, had a really energized room. And that was sort of the first hour of a session. And then the second hour was actually right, well, let's look and focus on our processes. So
Mm.
although it wasn't pure Lego serious play at the time, because we
Mm.
didn't do skills builds or anything like that,
Mm.
it was that was my introduction. It's like, yeah, I want to do more of this. And so
Yeah.
it's always keeping an eye out for things that are out there.
Yeah. It's interesting that so your way in was through more sort of Lego activities that came in. So you knew of Lego Serious Play, but what came into your work, and I see this a lot actually in Scrum and Lean and all that stuff, where you bring in Lego to sort of teach some of the principles or draw out some of the principles and things like that. So that was your way into sort of Lego. And then obviously you still had your eye on Lego Serious Play as it sort of evolved over the last sort of 10, 15 years.
Yeah, it's they're always sort of a Lego activity, and having a Lego shop in Leeds was sort of go and visit at lunchtime and what is there and what can we do? What's the next thing we can bring in to keep people energized and wanting to look at continuous improvement. It's something that we look at in the agile space
Mm.
all the time. How can we continuously improve? So, and finding interesting ways to keep people looking at continuous improvement rather than just wanting to do their job. So I
Yeah.
always kept an eye on that, and it was always at the back of my mind. Yeah, I want to go and do something, get certified.
Mm.
And it was probably, well, it was during the pandemic that I actually sort of did my certification. So there
Mm.
was opportunities to do that alongside sort of work.
Mm.
And again, it sort of opened my eyes to all the things that do make a Lego serious play session and actually increase the value you get from it rather than it just being a Lego activity.
Yeah.
But obviously, I've been into Lego a long time. Obviously, I had loads of Lego as a kid, and then sort of probably sort of through late teens and sort of early 20s didn't have as much. But yeah, the Lego shop in Leeds has been my downfall ever since.
It's drawn you back in. It's always the way, isn't it? It's like
Yeah.
it's like the lost years in the middle, and then we all find it again. And particularly, yeah, it's interesting you're saying, with Lego Serious Play that, you were using Lego activities in a particular way and you wanted a bit more, you want something a bit different, and then you saw Lego Serious Play, and it's a really interesting conversation. Maybe we don't have to have it now, but it's like that difference between a Lego and a Lego Serious Play activity, and sort of what gets drawn out in different ways.
Yeah.
But I'm super interested in your first build that you did for us. So
Yeah.
as you know, with the podcast, I get people occasionally to do some builds. So I've been super keen to see your ones. So Do you have a tower? I think I got you to do the tower, didn't
Well,
I?
yeah, let me switch camera and
I'm going to put you on the
put it
big
up the right way.
screen
Yeah.
so we can see this. Oh, look at that. That's very high tech.
Yeah.
Let me just.
So although you asked me to build a tower, I sort of broke the rules a little bit in that it's not if I stand up, it's more of a tower. It's there's a sort of tower at the end, but actually this is one that you also need to see from different angles as we go through as well, because there are some bits that are hidden. And what I built was probably more of my sort of career journey and how I've got to where I am now. And my degree is actually in criminology and social policy, so sort of really far away from Lego or Agile or anything like that. But I got to a point where I actually was working in the police force as a civilian, but I couldn't get any further. And that's sort of represented by sort of this nice sort of gated bit here. But I sort of then was able to move sideways and sort of there was a door of opportunity that I was able to sort of walk through. And so I sort of turn the model round. And then sort of this is where I've then got these sort of different paths that I then sort of started to follow. I sort of went sideways into the NHS and was doing analysis of healthcare data. And then we sort of had a project that was going to be an agile project, and I got to be the product owner. And so as I sort of moved through this, there was another door of opportunity to move sort of into that agile world. And after 18 months working on an agile project, I didn't want to go back to sort of doing the data analysis bit. I like this, and then became a Scrum Master. So there's another door that sort of opened there. But there's still some analysis that sort of carried on through the work that I did. I'll move it back round. And that sort of continued into to different streams as a actually if I move it around that way as I go down, and that we've got these different paths, this green, red, blue paths, and different doors and windows of opportunity that I've got. And all the while I've got three people here, my wife, my daughter, and my son, that have always sort of cheered me along as I go. You can see them hopefully all with their hands up in the air. And at the end, there's this now sort of not very well, but this sort of tower at the end, where I've got lots of different coloured bricks that represent lots of different things that I do. So as you mentioned, sort of I work sort of in the agile space. So I work as a Scrum Master, an agile coach. Through that, I've also been able to offer agile training, so I offer some certified agile training. From that, it led into some more coaching stances. So I've done my coaching training and working on additional certifications there. And that led to some Lego Serious Play training, and now I'm offering certifications there. So at the end, there is this nice sun that will spin around. When I was building it, I found that in all my daughter's Lego and thought, oh, I'm just going to stick that on the end as a nice sunny end to my unconventional tower.
Well, I love it. And I was like, that spinny bit, where is that from? I often look at people's builds and I'm just like, oh, where is that little piece? I've got to get it in my kids. That was awesome, Robin. Thank you. I love that use of color and the different paths.
Mm.
Looks super cool. And yeah, it was nice. You talked about, the non-traditional tower, and it's interesting. It's come up quite a bit recently where people have sort of said, why a tower? Or, the standard warm-ups we do is build a tower with you in it. And I always say to people, it's sort of historical, the tower. Like, it was the traditional sort of warm-up activity at the start of Lego Serious Play sort of history. But it doesn't have to be a tower. I've seen so like yours, there was a little tower at the end and it was awesome. But I've seen ones that are like totally flat. I've seen ones that you wouldn't even recognize it as a tower. Um, but I always find that prompt just helps people to build, even if it never looks like a tower.
Yeah.
So no, that was great. So that was you at the start with that little hat on, was it?
Yes.
Yeah, I love that
Yes.
one.
So it's yeah, went through and it was finding some minifigures that sort of were all represented, but they think they came out of one of the advent calendar sets. So they've
Ah.
actually all got matching jumpers on as well to give that
That's
sort of family vibe.
yeah, I was going to say, I'm sort of moving into that stage with my family where I'm like, we look at each other and we're like, it's very similar what we wear. um, I loved it. I love it as well that I'm just reflecting on your model that we get, there's sort of two things. I love the sort of paths and journeys. Like, you would know with a lot of models, there's obviously, I'm here, I want to get to there, or I've been here and this is where I am now. And there's sort of a very sort of chronological flow to a lot of it as well. And I also love your use of doors and windows and just stuff that opens. And
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of having a lot of those in my Lego series play kits. I think those transition pieces where whether it's like stairs or even wheels where vehicles move or um, there's just something about moving from one state to another that I think you captured well there. And
Yeah.
also I think is I just say it time and time again.
Yeah.
So loved it. Thank you. Thank you for
Cool.
doing that. And it's funny. I know we've talked a little bit about Lego Series Play certification, and I often start my ones with just a very traditional, welcome and tell us about yourself. And we don't actually do that warm up with the Lego until much later. And I'm just always struck by how different it is. So what we were talking about, like we went into, your history and, a little bit about this and that. But then to see it in Lego form, 3D form, it always brings something different out.
Yeah.
And I think it's such a learning point for people to see traditional, how do I introduce myself versus how do I do it with Lego?
It was
Um,
one of the key things I know when we were discussing sort of a few months ago and talking about that sort of certification and introductions. And sort of the
mm,
first thing I sort of wrote down is sort of like, well, why aren't we doing the tower straight away?
sure,
Because
yeah.
it's such a great way of getting people to do that. But like I say, holding it back, even though it's sort of maybe what half an hour or so to
Mm,
get people to do it sort of traditionally, hear a bit more about the method,
mm,
then say, right, okay, we're going to go into this skills build now and do it, but we're going
mm,
to do it as if you're doing your sort of introductions.
mm.
It creates that aha moment or that sort of first little bit of learning to say, yeah, this is different. You
It's
do
different.
get a little bit more, you do go a little bit deeper because that traditional, yeah, I work as an agile coach and a scrum master, not the whole journey that I've been on.
Yeah.
Something that it might not have sort of come out as well, but on those paths, there were peaks and troughs
Mm,
show that there are ups and downs on each of those journeys, and there were some slopes that were round the wrong way to say, yeah, this is a bigger journey, then it's easier, and
mm.
that you could sort of start to go into all of those things, and they're great metaphors that you can then start to share,
Yeah.
particularly if it's part of a coaching journey,
Yeah.
coaching conversation, and building that journey, and sort of like you can then sort of start to go into it. So, like, what do those bricks represent? Where you have got those slopes and you've got these walls to
Yeah.
climb,
Yeah.
and that actually you can sort of then start to get again deeper sooner.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's such a good point. It's such a microcosm of what is good about Lego series play is just how we do traditional warm-ups
Yeah,
or traditional introductions and then how we do this one. And I think it goes to something that they really dive deep into in the initial Lego series play workshops, which was identity. And I still think identity, like who we are, who do we want to be. Like I still think that's such a power. I do a lot of that with my client work, but I know Lego series play is used far and wide now, but I just think it's such a powerful use is identity. Sort of looking at ourselves, whether it's individuals or whether it's as a group or whether it's as a company, like whatever level we're sort of identifying with.
yeah.
I think that's still such a powerful use case for it is
It,
who we
it
are.
is just how are people arriving in the room? Because
Mm,
that sets the tone for the session. And although sort of people hear Lego and think fun, it's a serious thing that we're
mm,
doing. But how are they actually sort of turning up? Because you never know what's happened in the 5 minutes before or the half hour
mm,
before, in that morning, the day before. That means they're coming in with a different mindset that might be a little bit more closed off or something like that. And so that sort of checking can just sort of start to open people up.
mm,
And it's the thing that I hope isn't lost when people go out and facilitate Lego serious play sessions,
mm,
because it'd be quite easy to sort of, yeah, we've done this before, we'll bin that off and we'll go straight into
mm,
an individual model,
mm,
because there's so much value in that initial skills build activity
mm.
to make sure that everybody's on the same page. There's that sort of level playing field, everybody's engaged in the meeting.
Yeah.
If you jump in straight in, you lose something.
Yeah, totally. I often think at a sort of deeper level, it's sort of like you're messing with, it sounds deep, messing with people's states of consciousness. Like you're trying to get them to a certain point where we can achieve something different. And
Yeah.
so I like what you said. Like everyone comes in with different things, whether it's mood related from 5 minutes beforehand, whether it's life related, something happened yesterday, last week. But it's like we've got to. It's like as a facilitator of anything, but particularly Lego Serious Play, you've got to get them to a certain state of mind to then engage with why you're really there. And I think, you know, I know we've talked about this as well. Like the original Lego Serious Play warm up is like an hour and a half, and it's just you need to find that balance between, really getting them into the state of mind, but also fitting into people's lives. And so that's why I think the way we do it, I think it fits that balance nicely. It gets that state of consciousness changed. They're ready to engage with the real questions. And this is why it's funny. It's all these subtle things that build up in a session. And you know all this now, like you're teaching it and you're using it a lot. It's all these things. I think facilitation often is just these little things that build up to sort of nudge people in the right direction. And it's always, oh, it was such a good session and we got so much out of it. And it's like, yeah, because you're doing all these little things to sort of facilitate, shepherd, herd, guide people through it. We talked a little bit about you just doing certifications there. So how have you felt with that transition from, an LSP facilitator doing it? And obviously you've got huge experience with Agile, Scrum, doing like actual training and certifications of a lot of that stuff as well. How did you find going in and doing certifications for Lego Serious Play now? Like how are you looking at it differently? How did you feel about it? Yeah, tell us.
So I'm going to take a little step back on that as well. So because obviously I do a lot of building with Lego and I'm part of a Lego group, I build lots of literal things. So the biggest challenge I have if I'm part of a Lego Serious Play session is getting from that literal mindset into the metaphorical mindset. So these builds, they took a lot more effort than if I was actually going out and building something literal.
Yeah.
And that was one of the biggest things that I was then able to take into that certification, that I'd be able to sort of almost give both sides of it, that you're going to get people that might struggle to begin with to change from, I'm building a tower, so I need to build this really big skyscraper, and it's like that's not what we want.
Yeah.
And that can be really challenging for some people. So it's sort of sharing those experiences with the people that were coming on the certification to say, look, yeah, this is what we want. Like, this is what a polar bear looks like, and this is what a polar bear looks like in Lego, and it could just be a single white brick.
Yeah.
Or obviously, in the stuff that you share, is like you've got this piece of grass that could mean the environment, or it could mean ideas, or it could mean something prickly.
Yeah.
And it's starting to get that across, that people look at the bricks differently, because the bricks are the tool. The bricks aren't the method.
Yeah.
The method is in the question, build, share, reflect. But it's easy to get caught up on the Lego because Lego's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the method that
Yeah.
is the thing that provides that value.
Yeah.
And we're just talking around the Lego. It enables those conversations. It enables something much deeper to come out, and that disassociation when it's a difficult topic as well. And there are the things I was really trying to sort of share and get across when sort of moved into that training piece rather than just facilitation.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so much. I love hearing you talk about Lego Serious Play because it's like there's the mechanical delivery of it, which when people come along and want to learn it, like that's what they want. They want to know, okay, what are the steps and how do I present it to people to achieve the results that you want. But I love how you think about it, at a deeper level in terms of philosophy and and things like that. You're just saying like from a very literal to a very metaphorical, and you've had that experience. And I think that's what makes for a great LSP facilitator and trainer and certifier is it's like you start to sort of think a lot more deeply about it, and you start to see things like what are we doing? We're just manipulating this material, but we're really playing with ideas. Like we're trying to get ideas out of our head. We're manipulating them on the table. How do the ideas interact with us and interact with each other? And like you said, it's like the separation of the material and the actual method. It just so happens that the Lego brick is just the best tool for this method, which is great because they work hand in hand. But I always say if there was another tool that worked better with the Lego Serious Play method, I would use that other tool. But I just don't think you're going to get it. It's like hand in glove. It's just
it is. And I think the most important, or the the most important bits that I heard again on the certification when I've been facilitating, it's the actual conversation that's taking place
Yeah.
about bits, and that's the thing that you need to make sure you'll be capturing and reflecting back,
Mm,
and sort of saying like, even though you might not have thought about it, here's the things that I noted you were talking about
mm.
in relation to this.
Yeah.
Are these things still important? Do you want to continue that conversation, continue sharing about that, or have you now found something else? But like say, when you turn the model round, and
Mm.
again, the certification last week, that was really, they got them to walk around the table and sort of they went around, well, this side's really dark,
Yeah.
and it's this
Really
this
different.
this this big jump, and we need to change that. And so sort of straight in that they were looking at it and sort of seeing that different perspective,
Yeah.
and just looking at a model from a different perspective can change the whole view of whatever it is that you're discussing and questioning.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just fantastic, like hearing you talk about your certification. I'm looking forward to your next ones and your next ones, and I know you got a few more coming up as well. And it's funny, you get to a certain point, and you probably you do this in Agile and Scrum as well. It's like you get a good grasp on the methods that you're using, and you want to have a broader impact.
Mm.
Probably the most satisfaction I get out, I still love running sessions, but the most satisfaction I get is seeing people that you train go out and use it. And it's funny you're mentioning like criminology and sociology, and you know I love hearing you probably know Alistair McGregor in the UK, where he does it in prisons and things like that. And I didn't train him, but it's like I do anything I can to support people like that, because the impact that they're having and that you're having in the Agile and Scrum world, and I have in the HR world, like that's the satisfaction you get from it, is just seeing the wider spread of these ideas, which in the end, they're not really ours. Like we're just, sort of almost custodians of it. We try and improve it. We try and present it in ways that help it to spread. But yeah. Now, I think I got you to do some other builds as well. Did you want
Yep.
to bring your second
Yep.
build out?
Let me move bits and get it set up.
So is this the one I
This
asked?
build actually,
I think I asked you a question about what you're not talking enough, or what your industry isn't talking enough about. Was that this one?
yeah, and I think I've got a loose bit there. Right, let's.
Oh, I should have said this before your last build as well. Is Robin and I teed this podcast up a couple of months ago, and I had to keep canceling on him for various reasons, and so he built these well over a month ago, and I think he's doing amazingly just to remember the stories. But I guess it's testament to how powerful these things are, that the stories are still so embedded in you and in it. But anyway, tell us about this one.
Cool. So I think that this could apply to both Lego Serious Play and to Scrum. And what I've got here is effectively, where's my clock's gone? I have got a book here that could be the Scrum Guide, or it could be sort of the open source Lego Serious Play Guide that gives you all of those rules as to what the method is. And we've got sort of these people here that are all sort of bent over and they're following. And I even got somebody that's a bit handcuffed there as well, because they're following the rule book. And if we always follow the rules, we could end up turning into zombie cheerleaders. So yeah, going through and sort of seeing what I've got there. Now, it's one of the things we talk a lot about in Scrum. Obviously, you've got the Scrum guide, and there's a process to Scrum, and you work in sprints, and you have these sort of events, and you're going to have these people in certain roles, and you're going to have these different artifacts. And it's similar. There is the method, the Lego Serious Play method that we follow. Um, but we've also got to, in a way, almost look beyond the method. And one of the things that we talk about, or I talk about when I'm doing some of my agile training, is we talk about Shu Ha Ri. I don't know if you've come across that before. And it originated from sort of Japanese martial arts, particularly Aikido, and it describes a sort of state of learning and moving into mastery. And sort of one of the things that most people would have seen, they're going to have seen the Karate Kid movie. And in there, you've got Mr. Miyagi and he's got his student Daniel, and he teaches him karate in that very unconventional way. And rather than sort of showing him all the different moves, he gets him to clean cars and go through that repetitive motion of wax on and wax off. And when Daniel sort of questions that approach, Mr. Miyagi says, I say, you do, no questions. And at that point, Daniel's in that state of shoe where he's sort of in that state of learning where he's having to obey the rules because he doesn't understand what those rules are. And obviously that creates a new muscle memory that you can apply later when you need it because you now sort of have learnt those rules, you understand them. And later in the film, and obviously spoiler alert for anybody that's not seen it, when Daniel has to defend himself, he can sort of instinctively act. And he realizes the rationale behind that repetition. And he starts to enter that state of heart where you can then sort of start to sort of break the rules and you can explore safely with guidance how you can break the rules, but while maintaining and embedding those underlying principles from that state of shoe. And then as you sort of learn more and more and more and get to that state of re, you move from being the student to being the master, and you can transcend the rules and sort of take what you're doing even further.
Oh, I love that, Robin. That is
And so
fantastic. That is fantastic. Oh, I love the zombie cheerleader as well. No, I love that story. Like it's the reason I was pausing for a moment is because I feel like um that story you just told sort of encapsulates a lot of um sort of my feeling about you were doing with Scrum, but with Lego Serious Play. And you said moving beyond the method. And it's almost like what we have to do. It's like you have to like just like you were saying, you have to get people to know what the rules are, play within the rules, but then feel comfortable to break the rules once they know what the rules are and know what they're
yeah,
doing. It's and it's no surprise that this has happened throughout history, like with almost everything. Like there's obviously a process for it and an understanding of it, whether it's in Japan or elsewhere. Um, and yeah, it's the same thing. It's funny. I say in my certifications with the tower, there's lots of different warm-ups you can do. I say just do the tower for the first 2 or 3 times. Like just don't think about it. Just do the tower. Once you're comfortable with it, then break it and do something else and try something else. And so it's just like you said, it's that have that foundation, know the foundation, get that solid foundation, and then move beyond the method. Oh, that was great. I loved it.
there are other analogies and bits. You use it like it's like when you're building a house, you have to lay the foundations first.
Yeah.
So if you start sort of building walls and a roof before laying any foundations, you'll build a house
Mm.
and it will stand up for a bit. But then the weather will change and sort of there'll be a strong wind and sort of there'll be rain and it'll get cold and everything will start to crumble. So
Mm.
it's really important in whatever you're doing is to lay those solid foundations to understand the why you're doing this,
Mm.
to then be able to then start to change what you're doing.
Yeah. It also reminds me of something I've been thinking about where, know, someone comes in, whether it's a Lego Series Play or anything else, and is in that first year, and it's like it's like they have this sort of not naive, but this simple look at what it is because they're first learning it and they're trying to absorb and make that foundation. And then it's almost like you've got to get into the weeds, you've got to get into that complexity, you've got to like then know it deeply by practice, like by experience, and then thinking about that, at a deeper level. And so it's almost like you have to go out to the complex, or yeah, you sort of go out to the complex. But then the real trick is then to come back to the simple.
Yeah,
It's to know what's important in all those rules, the stuff you
yeah,
can't break, the stuff you can break. Um, and I find not many people come back from that complex to simple. And it's
yeah,
funny, it ties in a little bit. We obviously talk a bit together about certification and training in Lego Serious Play. And I feel like there's a lot of providers out there that go to the complex but never come back to the simple. It's like they sit in that complex state, and a lot of people come out of training and sort of further guidance like more confused. And
yeah.
it's almost like we have to think about what's that journey for people when they're learning Agile, Scrum, Lego Series Play. It's like, what are those steps to get them? It's simple to start, but then you sort of get into the weeds, but then we bring you back to sort of, it's not like a simple mastery of it.
Well,
um, hmm,
it's creating that feedback loop. I think
hmm,
that's going to be important for anybody that is sort of starting to facilitate
it
Lego
is,
Series Play
it
sessions.
is.
That obviously within Scrum, you've got that sort of every single sprint. There's a feedback loop to look back and what did we do and how did it go and it's important to probably do that with your Lego Serious Play
Mm.
facilitation. It's sort of like, okay, even though you may be running another sort of strategy session, another vision session that you've run before, it's with a different organization
Mm.
that's in a different market, that's with got different people sort of working for them.
Yeah.
So it's never going to be the same. And I think I put a post out on LinkedIn that it's absolutely a repeatable process, but every single session is going to be unique.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that.
And that's the thing that you've also got to sort of come to terms with. That it's not going to be like the last one.
Yeah.
Last one was great, but if it's
Yeah.
a new one, you've got to be on your game again.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes me think about like my history with Lego Serious Play. It's literally just been trial and error the whole time. Like I remember I used to, for about 5, 6 years, I worked with an organization here in Australia called General Assembly, which was just a training, an education company that would take people who, whatever field they're in, and for 12 intensive weeks, you would come in and you would be a student and you would learn. And it was in the IT field. So it was like user experience, it was web development and things like that. And then basically you would get retrained to then go out and do a different job. But it was great. Every 3 months, I went in there and I had 2 hours with them to show them Lego Serious Play. I also did a public session as well. But so it was probably about 3 hours of Lego Serious Play. And they were like guinea pigs. Like they wanted to know the method. And it was a different group each time, like a different class. But I got to test it and I got to try a different question and I got to figure out my style. And I think that's what, once you do the certification, once you read the book, whatever you do to get into Lego Serious Play, it's just like you're saying, it's that feedback loop. It's the trial and error. It's the ability, it's the confidence to just do, and then to be able to reflect on that to change what you do the next time.
Yeah.
Like it's just the quicker you can go through those loops,
Yeah.
the better you'll be. Whether it's Scrum, Agile. I mean, that is Scrum. That is Agile. I mean, I don't need to tell you that. You're the one who's the expert in it. But I guess what I'm saying is, like, I think we could bring a lot of that to Lego Serious Play in terms of, I think it's been very bound up in a, probably from its historical roots, it's been very bound up in it's a big thing, and we've got to do a half day, a full day. And I just think we just need to just get through more cycles of it.
Yeah.
Both on a personal level and on an industry level.
Yeah. Well, actually, if you try to keep everybody in a room for, I'd say, probably more than half a day, you get to that day or 2 days, like it used to be, everyone will get tired.
Oh yeah, it's
and
2 hours is tiring.
It's one thing if you actually think about the timings of how much time you actually spend building, it's quite small.
It is, yeah, and I'm learning more and more that it should be less and less.
Yeah, it's all about the conversation that comes from it. It is literally the tool that's used to generate the conversation.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. And conversations and active listening and being present in those conversations, that's the tiring bit. But how can you? Is there a way to, again, it depends on the scenario that you're looking to use Lego Serious Play for, but is it something that you can do in sort of 2 hours, half a day, to then go away and do the work to actually implement your actions, and then come back to then almost like, okay, well, let's review where we were, retrospect, back, build a model to represent that, and then right, what are our next steps, and build the model to represent that, and build that into a shared model. Okay, and that's the next half step. And that is what I've got thoughts on how that could be absolutely used for a co-located Scrum team. So almost sort of like individual models to build the user stories that they're going to develop, put those together into a shared model. So how do we create a coherent release at the end of the sprint? What's it going to look like? What's our sprint goal? Come back every day for daily scrums and sort of build little components as to what's going on, what's getting in the way, how do we get past those things and those challenges, to almost then come back at a sprint review and say, well, here's what we built. And you can almost then do your demo through the model that's been created throughout the course of the sprint in the daily scrums, and then go back to planning it. Right, what's the next thing we're going to do? So actually there's that cycle that you could go through using the method in smaller chunks to deliver the same outcome, not just in one big go.
Yeah. I actually see that that's the future of Lego Serious Play. There'll always be standalone, straight Lego Serious Play sessions. A lot of what I deliver for clients, but It's interesting what you described. Like there's two parts to it. I think we need to get Lego Series Play more just part of how we do business. And I
Yeah,
think I think it's easier for Scrum and Agile because there are the rituals, and
yeah,
it just fits into that. Like what you described there, I'm like, if I think of a HR team when I was working, it's like, yeah, there's like a weekly, team meeting, but there's not the sort of rituals and repeatability and cycles that you get from, the work in Agile and Scrum. So I think it's those two things. I think it's just getting more process, and I think it's embedding Lego Serious Play in that process to just be a way that we work.
yeah.
It doesn't have to be special. It's just bust the Lego out. It's another tool. The important thing is the conversation. This is like another, I always say it's like another post note. It's like another pen, just like another tool that does the conversation. Yeah. And this is why this is why like what, 13, almost 14 years later, I'm still excited about it because there's just still there's so many more places for Lego Series Play to go in the
Yeah.
world. And we just aren't there yet. Like we're getting there. And there's now a group like yourself and, all the partners. There's a group of people that are of a like mind of where Lego Series Play can go. And I just think it's scaling that and just driving it. And there's just so much more of the world that just doesn't know about it yet. And it's just like, why wouldn't it be everywhere? So um, now I'm holding you up, I know, but do we have another build? I think I got you to do
Yeah,
one last build.
yeah. Got one
I'm
more.
looking forward to this. The first two have been fantastic and sparked a lot off in me. So I'm looking forward to this last one. And look, just kudos to you, Robin, for your technical skills of not only flipping to another camera, but also the background and things like that. So I'm super impressed. Tell us about this one.
So obviously, this was thinking about sort of where I was going, and I found more doors. And that sort of, I say, I've just started that sort of Lego Serious Play trainer journey. Had my first certification last week, so it's me opening that door and wanting to do more in that Lego Serious Play world. And I feel that there's sort of lots of opportunities in there. And so I go even more technical and see if I can actually move this over. Okay, you see, different angle, different perspective, and that in there, I'm going to go in and pick up that flaming torch and run with it. So I want to be doing more in sort of the Lego Series Play community, and sort of whether there's obviously I do put loads of stuff on LinkedIn already, but maybe turn that more into articles and ideas and sort of sessions that people could run. So like being in that agile space, sort of come up with how can we do more with sprint goals in sprint planning in daily scrum. So that's what can happen. Sort of see all of these sort of doors and windows of opportunity that I could actually go out and take, and I'm just sort of stepping into that new world.
Oh, I love it. I love I've got a few of those almost like prison type doors in mine, and it's so interesting to see who uses them and who doesn't. I like that you've got the mix of the sort of more lockdown ones versus the more traditional ones.
Yeah, so
Um,
yeah, obviously I wanted I've not used them as prison doors. I wanted
they're
to
just
use them
doors.
just as they're just doors.
Yeah.
And again that's the one of the powerful things about Lego Switch Play. Whatever it means to the person that did the build,
Mm.
that's what it is.
Yeah, true.
And to me they are sort of doors of opportunity.
Yeah.
Um, like I say, maybe I could look at it. Obviously, they're going to be more difficult to get through than
Mm.
others. So there are opportunities that it's that I might struggle, have to sort of break them down and find the key to unlock it.
Mm.
Others are going to be easier to get through. Um, but I see this as a huge opportunity, and there are lots of doors and windows there that and ways that this could be used,
Mm.
organizations it could be used with. It's having that open mind. I think that's the key thing, and that's generally what happens within the organization we work with, sort of Scrum and Agile. Is you do need to have that growth mindset
Mm.
for it to be successful, and that's the same mindset you need for Lego Series Play to be successful as well. So
Yeah, love it. And it's so funny with these builds when I do them in podcasts like this. It's like I almost want to go into facilitator coach mode and just dive deeper. And I just realized, I don't want to turn it into a coaching session that's going to take hours, because as much as I want to, like, it's fascinating. Like, I'm like, oh, that flame, and where would you take it? And what do the doors mean? And my God, I mean, you would know this with your client work with Lego Series Play as well. Like, there's just so many questions that you want to ask
Yeah.
and dive deeper. And I think that's one of the tricks is like, how much as a facilitator do you dive deeper in the probing questions when you're with a group? It's a balance. It's time versus what you're there to achieve.
Well, it isn't, and I suppose the more that teams and organisations do this, where people within the room are going to get used to that. So as a facilitator, I might not have to say anything. They all,
Mm,
again, if they understand the types of questions they should be asking, those clarifying questions, those
mm,
probing questions and examples,
mm.
they almost become self-facilitating. And that's obviously my job as a Scrum Master or an Agile coach when I'm working with a team. I want them to become self-organizing and self-managing. So
Mm.
almost as a Lego series play facilitator, if I can embed that within the people coming along to my sessions, the more they do it, the more they self-facilitate and get to the answers themselves. They just need me to bring a big bag of Lego along.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting you say that. I was chatting or I was typing a response to someone who had been trained by someone else, and they were talking about the multiple tables thing. And then it was really great. They'd been trained by someone else, but they took the leap of doing a session that was sort of out of the bounds of what they were sort of taught. And they it was like, I think it was 4 tables, and it was just him and a sort of co-facilitator. And he was saying things like, oh, but I don't know what's happening on that other table, and things like that. And it's so interesting. He got to a point in the end, which was we chatted, and I said, you're not going to know what's happening on table number 4 every single point. And I just love your philosophy there. And obviously comes from your work in Agile and Scrum, where you want groups to be self-sufficient.
Yeah.
Like, and part of the people learning Lego Serious Players, yes, learning how to build, but it's also learning how to ask their own questions. And like you said, it's just so that you can melt into the background and
Yeah.
really just be there for the important things, like making sure the process is on track, or
Yeah.
or if people, it's like you can play that observer role then. And if people aren't asking the question, or if you, sometimes I've been in a, like, with a shared model, and I'm just like, oh my God, I can see it and everyone can't see it, and I'm like, I'm just going to ask some open questions and see if they can get to it.
Yeah.
And so that self-sufficiency, I think, is another big, I think it's a roadblock in some facilitators' minds. Like, they want control. And I think what you got to do is you just got to, I'm sure this is an Agile Scrum thing, you just got to set up the framework,
Yeah.
and then, like, the box being a nice big box that they can't, like, go and destroy stuff, but they
Yeah.
can, to play within that and be creative within that themselves. I
Yeah,
think is,
well, we've said it a couple of times already on this, that the Lego is just the tool. The Lego
mm,
isn't the method,
mm,
and that's the key thing. There is the method, and the Lego is just the tool to enable the conversation to work through those 4 stages of the method,
yeah.
and that's where it's all about facilitation
Mm,
and about those sort of open coaching type questions that are going to get people to the answer they need to get to. If
yeah.
you're not giving them the answer,
No.
you're not building a model for them. If
Yeah.
you're just helping them get to the answer,
Yeah.
and they're responsible for that.
Yeah. And look, I find that very freeing as someone coming in using Lego Series Players to know that you don't have the answers. You have the tools, you have the process. And as long as you run that right, then the group is the one that has the answers. Well, this has been awesome, Robin. I'm not going to hold you up any longer. I know you've got a beautiful UK summer to look after. Not like, go out, enjoy the afternoon. Not like me here in Melbourne. I'm just going to go stand in front of the fire as I'm. Well, I should say I'm freezing. I shouldn't complain. It's not like a UK winter. It's like it's pretty mild in comparison. But I just want to say thank you so much. It's been wonderful, obviously, working with you, and we will, obviously continue to. We have regular chats, and I love it. And
Yeah.
I love your passion for obviously all of your work, but now that you're bringing it to Lego Series Play, and even in that last model, just seeing, you wanted to take the flame and run with it, and there are so many opportunities as well. Where can people find you? Where should people follow you? What's the future hold?
So obviously the main place obviously people are able to find me is on LinkedIn, and post
Yep.
sort of pretty regularly about sort of Lego Serious Play things. So there's a whole host of stuff to go back and read if people are interested. But you can also sort of have a look at my website, the LSP Coach. .com, and you'll be able to find me there as well.
Cool. Awesome. And please do. Robin's pumping out fascinating stuff. I mean, you've seen from this, I love the depth with which you're thinking about a lot of this stuff. And yeah, I'm just excited to keep working with you. We've got there's so much space in that Agile, Scrum, and beyond as well. I think it's going to be a fun ride. I'm looking forward to the next 10 years. And who would have thought 13, 14 years later, I'm looking forward to the next decade of this, because like seeing where this goes, and I'm excited to be working with you, Robin. All right. Fantastic. Thank you so much again, Robin. And everyone out there, I hope you enjoyed it. Keep an eye out. I haven't done one of these for a while, but I'm going to start. I've got to bank up a few. So I actually think, Robin, we're going to put this one out first. I've really enjoyed it. And then we'll expect a few more in the next couple of days, because we've got some good ones came up too. But thank you, Robin. I guess you're sort of kicking off season 2 of the LSP Method podcast. There's been a bit of a hiatus, so I'm glad that you're kicking us off. But follow Robin along, and his LSP work, his Agile, his Scrum work. He's great to sort of learn a lot from. And yeah, thanks everyone, and we'll catch you on the next podcast. See ya.